Didn't hear anything about Brett. I don't think.
I haven't heard a word on him. Well, ask Annie when she comes back.
I had an interesting little chat with Brett the other day.
We are on.
Have you heard about Brett? Is he going to be here? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Walking in.
All right.
I'm guessing he's going to make it. Thanks, Todd. Some of you can know your mirror at home.
Mm-hmm. Brush up on it daily. Recite it every morning.
Every day and in every way, I'm eating more and more hot dogs. You in that movie?
No. I was
This is
lost.
the year that thing hates the stomach. That's what they're saying.
You're what?
God, I feel like
So over here, they're saying
every day in every way is what song.
I'm eating more and more hot
more
dogs.
and more hot dogs, so I can't.
It's meatballs.
God, I haven't seen that.
Classic.
Classic.
Between
Don't
us,
worry,
we
yeah.
can't get it.
Yeah.
I'm not that old and I can't read this very well. But I am really blind, so if that helps. It's pretty tiny.
Brittany pointed out.
You ready?
I might need some
I'll be with
glasses.
you. You're talking about eating 50 boiled eggs. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is called to order. And I'm going to start with a roll call. Annie,
Here.
Michelle, Brett,
Here.
Jason,
Here.
and Kim.
Spread it.
I'm going to turn that recorder on there. That's going to have a
Maybe we
note
turn it on
sticker.
first.
Power. I don't know if you want to run through the roll call again real quick, Terry, or
Of the recording, yes. Annie,
Yes.
Michelle, Brett,
Yes.
Jason,
Here.
and Tim.
move to adopt the agenda.
I want to add some things to the agenda. Yeah, go figure, huh? I'd like a 5-minute executive session just prior to the adjourn for attorney-client privilege, and another executive session immediately following that for 10 minutes on non-elected personnel.
What was the first one for?
Attorney-client.
I was gonna have one put on there, Terry. Do you want to make it 15 minutes?
Is it personnel?
Yeah.
Okay, personnel 15.
Okay.
We're here 20.
No. Sold.
Anybody else? Anything else?
Better fix your motion so I can second you. We can move this along.
We treat that as a move to adopt the agenda.
Yes. I'd actually go back to adopting I move to adopt the agenda, added executive sessions.
Second.
Motion by Tim to adopt the agenda with 2 executive session meetings at the end of the session, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion on the agenda? Those in favor? Okay.
Brett, this one's yours.
What?
The next one is yours.
What do you mean it's mine?
The motion.
I move to approve.
December 11th minutes.
Those are the ones that you wanted altered, correct?
Right, but then I
And you're
also
happy?
have that other one altered too.
You're happy with them?
Yeah.
That's why I'm passing it on to you. Then I will second it.
Did he make the motion? He did. On the 11th?
We should probably do them one time.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes of December 11th by Brett, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, next one.
I so move to approve the 19th.
I'll second.
Motion to approve the minutes of December 19th by Brett, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Motion passes. December 27th.
I move to approve.
A second.
Okay, a motion to approve the minutes of December 27th by Brett, seconded by Annie. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Motion passed.
Move to adopt appropriation ordinance 1515.
I'll second.
Does anybody want an explanation on the franchise fees? Admar and Allen, it's listed.
I kind of would like that explanation on those. I know Lisa explained them to us one time before, but I don't remember what.
Do you know if that's a yearly thing or twice a year, every 2 years, or what it is? I've never seen it on here before. Okay, Todd, would you have the honors of explaining the franchise?
Well, I don't know.
I think you're right, but what you're
I
saying.
was speculating. So I'll
Okay.
speculate
Okay,
that because the city has a gas utility, extends to other cities, that in an unusual event like that, that KCC may require that we pay a franchise fee for servicing those cities. And it would surprise me if that's a monthly amount. It would make sense to be an annual amount or a biannual amount. But that would be probably the source of that.
okay, guys.
That makes sense.
All right, I want to point out one thing on this ordinance too, right quick. It's on the agenda under new city business, but that is the Flint Hills Regional Council membership. It's on the appropriation ordinance there. If you want to hold off on approving the appropriation ordinance until after we discuss that, then we can do so. Otherwise, we approve it and we'll still discuss it so you know what's going on with that.
Doesn't bother
I
me.
mean,
I know what
we're
it
gonna
is.
stay in, so
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
believe
bother
we
me.
are.
Yeah, it's in our best interest.
I think
I'll
it's
talk
worth it.
about it. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. That was on there
Did anybody second Amy's motion?
before we approved it.
I did.
Yeah, we were in a discussion mode at that point. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, approval by Annie. Motion by Annie to approve the appropriation ordinance 1515, seconded by Brett. This is a roll call vote. Annie,
Yes.
Brett?
Yeah.
Jason?
Yes.
And Tim.
Yes.
Okay, next up is public concerns. Are you on the agenda? Anybody here that's not on the agenda? Okay, all right, we'll move on. Department reports. We're gonna table that to February 12th because Clay had a tripping accident today on ice. I'm assuming at home. I didn't get the full details on that, so he's not going to be here. Let's table that to February 12th.
Do you need a motion for that?
Mm,
I would move to table this
Yes, just-
until February 12th.
Deb just came in though too, so
Who did?
Deb Putton's here.
Oh,
For 13, 14.
yeah. Sorry, Deb. That's what it's for. It's your
It
property.
sounds like
And
he's,
you're more than welcome to hang around or you can leave.
are we doing,
Did email us.
314 right now? I know we skipped over the.
Well,
There wasn't any.
The 14th then?
the 12th, let's see, I'm sorry, I didn't realize there's an email here. So let me run through it right quick.
To me, it sounds like he's saying that she needs some more time. So then, with saving her the trouble of coming back to the very next meeting, do you want to just extend it out 30 days or?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Was that the 26th?
You had your operation already, Deb?
I did.
How you feeling?
I'm getting around.
I do first week of
Well, I got slip and
Yeah.
fall.
I was gonna say, stay off the ice.
Weather.
Yes.
I move to, what do you say? Table until March 11th? I can't read that calendar.
February.
Well,
Let's see, today is,
I was just gonna have
today's
an
the
extra
22nd, so
meeting.
if you're gonna give her,
Healing
6
and
weeks if you
weather.
do that, that's
Yeah.
March 11th.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Annie to table the property at 314 East First to March 11th. Seconded by Brett.
Just more time.
I can't do a whole lot right now.
Sure.
You're good.
Not that anybody wants to be out in this fun time.
Those in favor? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Debbie, sorry you showed up tonight.
That's okay.
All right, thanks for coming. Okay.
Don't fall on the way out.
Yes.
Okay, next up is the new city business.
Did I miss public concern?
Yes, you did.
Kramer.
We can catch you at the end.
Okay,
Probably did say Kramer Engineering.
it says Kramer Engineering bid presentation. Are we gonna allow that?
Yep.
All right.
So this on the gas project, KDOT relocation gas line project. We did have the bid letting on January 17th. We had 4 plan holders. We had 2 bidders. No Walk Construction Company and Northern Pipeline Mid-America, both good companies. We've worked with both of them in the past. The city's actually had work done by both of them in the past as well. The low bidder was No Walk Construction Company at $558,661.70. Northern Pipeline was at $649,081.00. Any questions about the bid? So then the notice of award is what we'd like to get, a motion to get the notice of award to the contractor in the amount of $558,661.70. Again, KDOT covers all these expenses for the city. The way this project works is when a pay request comes in, we process pay request. Those go to KDOT. They send a check to the city pays their bills. So, like I say, any questions about the bid or the motion? The motion is just getting the ball rolling on getting the contracts together.
You have a time frame for when completion of that and when the project is going to start?
Yes. So what we're hoping to do with tonight, get the notice of award issued to the contractor. He'll have about 15 days to turn the contract around. We'll get those back to the city, get them put together. We'll get them back to the city. We're hoping to issue the notice to proceed on February 12th. And then we should be completed with the project sometime in May.
Completed? Good deal.
Yep. Which that all comes together. That puts us right underneath the gun when KDOT would like to have us completed. So that's our goal.
Does the grant require the lowest bid to be the chosen bid?
Lowest responsible bidder.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that our engineer has indicated that the low bid is a responsible company.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, we just need a motion for that notice of award, and then, yeah, I do have some other motions. If you want to wrap them all together, a motion to allow the mayor to sign the agreement once they're prepared, and then a motion for the mayor to sign the notice to proceed, which, like I say, we anticipate that being issued on February 12th.
That's the farm agreement we already approved, right?
Excuse me.
It's the farm agreement we already approved.
Yes.
Okay. So everything's, I think you could do a motion to award, to give the notice of award and to execute the contract all at once. There's no problem with that. So if that would,
And notice to
to
proceed.
grant the contract and award to whoever it is,
No,
to authorize the execution of the notice of award and the contract. That would be the motion. Hint, hint.
I so move.
Wait a minute.
I'm done. So, yeah.
So we're going totally around.
Well, I'll try to record on my phone. Jason made a motion.
Jason did,
Yeah.
seconded it.
Todd, to make that motion to execute the contract, would that also be to issue notice to proceed?
Yeah.
I need a second. Who seconded it?
Give me a second.
I made a motion.
Oh, okay, then I'll second it.
Okay. Turn this phone
It's my
off.
day.
We've already got a recording going.
Okay, a motion to accept the information that Kramer passed along. It's on the tape, so we'll get it right with Kelly, I'm sure. By Jason, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? In favor? All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
We like them short and sweet, man.
Right there. It's just I pay you monthly. What does that mean?
Exactly what that means.
All right. We wouldn't. Yeah.
Guess he never said.
Thank you.
whether
Everybody have a safe evening.
But,
All right, you too.
Y'all voted and he didn't say.
well, it's passed.
Yeah.
3,
3-0.
yeah, one abstention because she's not present.
Yeah, I was trying to delay that answer.
I'll catch her when she got back.
All right, but because I'm sure she would vote for it as well, but I can't vote for her, so we're gonna show it 3-0.
Robin, you.
Do?
I didn't say the phone.
Okay, next up, 140 Cedar Circle, dock transfer, Mark Murray. Any Mark Murrays in here?
Before we start with any of these transfers or permit applications, I'm gonna move to put them on the agenda for the next meeting. I mean, we can talk about if somebody here has it, we can definitely talk to you here, but Robin hasn't gone out because of the weather or anything to measure or look at any of these properties. So we don't have any eyes on the transfers or permits as of right now, so. We're
So Ponderosa Point.
258?
Yep.
Why
Okay.
don't we take them in agenda order? If they're not here, then we can just table them.
Yeah, I was just wanting to know because this is McVeigh and then they're there. So I will move to table 140 Cedar Circle to the next meeting, which is February
12th.
12th. Or do you want to extend it to the lake meeting, which is the 2nd?
I think since these are transfers, you want to get them as soon as you can.
Okay. So I'll do what date is that exactly?
February 12th.
February 12th.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Motion to table the dock transfer from 140 Cedar Circle Drive from Cedar Circle to by Brett to February 12th, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that motion passes.
I'll move the same thing for 205 Cedar Circle. To the 12th.
205, is there two? There's only one 205 and those folks are here, right?
No,
No,
We're
these folks are
they're 258.
Oh, you're 258, okay.
Ponderosa. So
Ponderosa
this is one,
only.
they're not
All right.
here.
Sorry, okay.
I'll second that one as well.
Okay, motion by Brett to table 205 Cedar Circle dock transfer to the February 12th meeting. Seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay.
And you're 258.
Okay, next up is 258 Ponderosa. I'm assuming that's point, not PL. It is point, okay. Mine almost looks like a PL. That's okay.
I'm kind of a little confused at like what you're wanting to exactly do. So if you could explain, since you're here.
Yes, so our
And
dock,
before you start, I don't know if anybody's familiar with this property. Sorry. But it is, I believe, Martinick's
Yep.
old property. So if you're familiar of where they live, then that will give you an eye about the location and if you know what the property is, what it looks like. So, okay, go ahead.
I'll let Ashley talk. She's been and she did all the planning.
basically what we want to do, if you walk down there, and I've shown it in some of the photos as best I could. It was snowy the last several weeks, but there are lots of steps to get down further, steps to get up and around. On the plan, the existing plan, you can see that the boat is, we only have a pontoon boat, and so our pontoon boat will not fit in, so it has to be next to the boathouse. There's a very narrow walkway and steps, and you have to kind of go out on those boards that are resting on the land to get to that boat access point. It's just very unsafe, and I mean, we always, you always take stuff down there and stuff. Oh.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Come on up. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're talking the boards that are
Yes.
across right here.
Yes, so the only way to get there is, let's see, the only way to get there, you have to go, this is down a big step, like onto a platform, and you go down another big step, actually to get to the main dock area. This back here is another big step up, and then I think I mean, that is a very narrow walkway just to get back to where we pull the boat up over there. Our pontoon boat will not fit in the boathouse, as I said before. So we want to take that out and basically just build it all to be one level so that it does not have all of those steps. We want to take the stairs out. It's falling apart. Our boat actually came off. I don't know what the right word is. Came unhooked and parts of the outside fell off, and
Most of the boards are rotten or
Yeah.
becoming bad. The railing up top, I wouldn't let the kids up there. I mean, it could be pushed over at any time. It's just,
So
I think
you're
more of a
moving the
safety
boathouse,
hazard.
you're moving the boathouse, the railing, everything that's above the dock level.
It just have
And I
one.
can't remember, is this a standard dock right now?
it
It's
is,
oversized.
it's oversized. And again, they've added on this portion and that portion, make it a lot bigger. So we were just hoping to use the existing, like we said, we're gonna get rid of this boat access, get rid of that, take that out, and just use the main dimensions of the dock there. But we want to take the whole boathouse out, or boathouse off of there, and just make it
One level with the lift for a pontoon.
What about the little shed there?
It's honestly, it could be torn down. I mean,
It is considered an extra structure.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
pay
we
for that
pay
extra
in
structure.
fees
It's
for it.
got electric to it.
And then it has a deck in front of it, right?
It's just yeah.
I guess,
Which would
yeah,
be
just a walk.
an added structure as well. I actually was the public officer when this property sold. And then there's a fence up top too, which is a structure
Yeah.
that you pay for as well.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know if we pay for that one. I know we pay for this situation, this shed.
Okay, and that will all be what Robin we'll put together and figure out when she goes out to look at it and stuff. But so you're basically taking it, the oversized dock, back down to a standard size,
Yes.
the 20 by 24.
Yes, and again, making it all completely level so that it's
Mhm.
Except the boat
Slam
lift.
We would like to have it,
Almost.
Would be,
yeah.
the existing
Yes.
footprint, we would
In
like to
addition.
have that surface area.
Oh, on the outside?
Yeah, that's my. I did look at this and I understand what you're like. Great, take away all the ugly crap.
Yeah, it's just,
However, this will be the hang up.
the boat lift.
The boat lift
though,
being
obviously
outside
I've
your
been
dock.
allowing boat lifts.
it's
So
where the boat exists 9 months out of the year. So we'd like to have that. We just want to put a lift under it.
I
Just our
understand.
thought process.
We count that as part of the footprint of the
I don't
dock.
think the argument, I think, I'll just adopt Justin's pose here, is because of the zebra mussels thing, I thought there was a general agreement to allow boat lifts outside of the dock footprint. If that's not the case, then I'm mistaken.
I'd have to look into that. I don't remember that.
I know it's not in the regs. I mean, it's not in the regs. It's not in the rules.
It's not in writing. It's been done that way. That's the way I'll put it.
We've been working with Eric Stevie. I don't know. He seems to have a good pulse of what's allowed and what's not. So that's who we've been consulting with. I don't know if that matters or not. But we kind of talked with him and then built out what we thought would be the existing footprint
Tell me something. If
to allow it to clean up. And
you had that lift right there, what's the distance from here to the next dock?
There's, well, our boat, like I said, our boat is there now, and I want to say it's like 24 feet. There's quite a bit of
there's
room.
quite a
You
bit.
put 28 feet right
28 feet, okay.
It's
I know,
quite
it
a
was
bit of
hard to
room.
measure that
Okay.
one, but
It's
it's,
the same
there's a lot of room.
length of cove there where the boozers have the empty lots, so there's not a lot of docks there at all, period. It's one of the parts of the shoreline that isn't engulfed with docks, but it's also one of the steepest
Yeah, it's deep. That's for sure. It's,
Yeah.
it's definitely a
chunks
good
down
walk.
to your dock.
But I mean, ultimately, we're just looking to clean it up and make it more safe, I guess,
Yeah.
for the most part.
I do,
gonna
I do think
move.
that's okay, yeah.
I'm gonna move to extend it to the second meeting in February until Robin looks at it again. But I'm glad that you were here to explain it so that, because I wasn't tracking fully what it was. And we'll look into the exemption that Todd was talking about.
So you're saying this was the 26th?
Well, yeah, because you said the other ones, because of the sales, they
Yeah.
needed to be moved up.
Yeah.
These are just permits.
Just want to make that clear on the record that that's what, so we don't get confused on the motions. This one's extended to February 26th, table February 26th. So,
Can we do the 12th or do we need to do it on 26th?
I was just keeping it with the lake meeting and not bogging down that other meeting with a bunch of other stuff. I only did the other ones because it was for the sale of we can if we need to, but we don't even know it's gonna be the list that's gonna be on that meeting. Because if we do that, then we just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 specific
True.
things to that meeting. So.
Okay, we have a motion to table it to the February 26th meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Brett, seconded by Jason to table 258 Ponderosa Point to February 26th. Any further discussion? Any other comment? Nothing? Okay. Those in favor? All right, we'll see you on the 26th.
Does the gal that's going to check it out, does she need our contact information or anything?
She'll
Would that
have-
help to?
Does Kelly, our clerk, have it? Your contact
She
info?
got my information.
So she'll
yeah,
give
I
it to
emailed
Robin
it.
and she'll have it.
It's all here.
It's on
yeah,
there
the
too, yeah.
application's here.
Okay.
Okay,
Appreciate the time.
Thank
Y'all-
you.
y'all be
Thank you,
careful getting
guys.
back.
Be careful.
thank you.
Okay, Kendall,
See you again, Margaret.
gotcha.
That is one of my favorite places.
Okay,
Wish I had another
337
size
Lake
dock.
Shore Drive.
Okay.
Should have started with it, I
I
guess.
know, right? That makes things easier. I get it.
Well,
There's 242.
it doesn't
here,
always
so
make
they
you want
do.
this.
I think I've got it here.
I did
I
print.
do think we all have.
We have
I
them.
redid it. Oh,
Oh, you did?
Did you
Yeah,
already
'cause
send it to her? 'Cause
I
we-
did, but I told her I'd print it.
Well,
I
she
think
didn't
if
listen
she already
to you.
printed it, that's fine.
Well, these are better exercise.
So there last time it was outside the 20 by 24 by 12. So they moved the stairs to the inside. Instead of, it was on the back, moved it
Yep.
to inside the footprint of the 20 by 24. Took off 3 foot extra extending out past. So and they shrunk the height down to get it to within 12 feet. So you have a signed page is where the instructions to the engineer saying adjust it to get it to 12 feet, essentially for the height.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's the footprint. That's the easy part. Got it within the cube. The next question is attaching these things. So I know there's was that chunk of concrete you wanted me to take out. So I went out there with a sledgehammer when I was meeting the dock guy and put down on a little bit and it was coming apart pretty easy. I'm like, well, you know, I better check to see how we're gonna attach this thing. So they have to anchor these down with 2 cables, essentially cross, and then the gangway has to attach to something. So I'm happy to take that thing out if I can't leave it to attach our cable to. And then the gangway, I know the code says no concrete sidewalk. I didn't know if there's a concrete secure. I put the dimensions there that he drew up for me. They vary about 2 feet and then it attaches to the end of it. And that's what secures the gangway to keep it from moving with the water. And then they also attach the cable to that. So it'd stick up about 1 foot and then you have the dimensions of the concrete. There is an option that he can do where they basically build a platform and drive some stakes in or some pipe into the ground, attach it to that, which also secures it. This is more secure than that is. So I prefer to do this, but I also know that if that's not what you guys are okay with, we do have an option for that part. I'm not really sure how they would attach that other cable if we take out that. I can probably make that smaller chunk of concrete. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Is there, I mean, in the area where this was, there were 2, I thought there were 2 poles that secured the dock itself. Is that not the case anymore?
No, that was a further old dock that it was attached to. And it like set in those, like floated. That's how they secured it, that one. Those
This
poles
one-
are still there, but
They
we
wouldn't
won't
work for
use
this?
them. Those will be removed out.
Okay, they would secure this though?
No,
Okay.
he thinks they're just driven down into
Well,
the mud.
Well,
How are the other ones run?
Well, they're kind of a new thing out there, really.
They are. And they become more popular because of the fluctuation of levels of water that's been happening out there, I am assuming.
Right. Well, and the reason we liked it is because it's hard to find someone to build a dock.
Mhm.
And so that's the other issue is they come in, they're here a week and it's done and down the road we go. And it's not wood and it's not rotten and
It's kind of like a prefab
Almost
house too. They kind of do it.
yeah,
and then
sections
float it over there.
Mhm.
And, yeah.
so all you really need to do is lock it into this thing.
Right.
Good.
And how they secured the last floating dock was with those cables with the into the ground. I obviously don't like concrete at all anywhere. And we do have it that we don't have concrete. We don't allow concrete. However, we do say that we allow wood steps down and everything else. So I'm not sure where that gray area is because how do you secure wooden walkways without pouring?
Oh, you do. They were just
More
not
like a
gonna talk
footing.
about it because it's underneath
You're pouring a footing.
footing. Yeah. To me, this is
Which this is
footing
essentially a footing,
to hold your dock. Yeah.
for the gangway.
So I don't know.
I don't think there's much of an
I think what you're
alternative
trying
in
to
this
do
situation.
is avoid a long
Sidewalk.
along cement zone, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Shoreline retaining wall.
Yeah.
Right.
or concrete that's gonna actually go into
Or
the lake. That's
concrete.
been the issue, really. is-
Docks.
I think where this will become a problem is when people start trying to use something of this nature. Well, I had to put it there, so we went ahead and made it a little patio. You're not gonna charge me for that extra patio, are you?
Mhm. No, I understand. That's why I'm asking
This
for
is like-
permission first here.
So it's
I feel like this
2
is
feet.
completely buried by the gangway, isn't
Yeah, and
it?
if you want
And
two,
the sidewalk
covered?
across the top.
So-
2 foot by 27 inch.
2
foot 3 inches
Yeah, 27-inch patio isn't going to work very well. So
That's why I thought
So some-
they may grow.
yes, that's right.
But
I mean,
if this
does it
works,
need to be that
we
big?
can make this a standard.
2 foot by 3 foot.
That's what he said to secure it. That's what I said. I need dimensions drawn up exactly so I know what I'm asking for. How much
So
is
it
sticking
says
up?
2 to 3. So
2 foot 3. Oh, 2 to 3 foot.
Does that say 2 to 3 foot or 2? Yeah, you're right.
It
It's
does
2 to
say
3
2 to
foot.
3
Yeah,
foot.
it's a foot mark after the 3. So it could be like 2 yards to 3 feet.
I mean, he has to secure it some way.
2 miles.
So unbelievably, I'm gonna say, I guess it's not a
It's not a no.
battle.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how else you would secure it if that's the way the dock's built.
But the smallest that you could do it would be appreciated.
Well, it'll be cheaper for me too. So I will do as small as I can.
What's stats on the electrical thing now?
So so I did find out it ran through, then it ran over here and was just land. It wasn't connected to anything. So that's gone. I pulled it
Okay.
all out.
So the only
Great, could've been done.
cord you got is by the
There's a-
lane.
Right. It comes down underneath the old sidewalk. There is electricity that comes down there,
Okay.
which will be
Ran to your
ran
dock.
over to the dock once we get the dock put in.
Okay.
And we'll get it in conduit and
Well,
safely. Jason, did you say you're an electrician?
I think it will.
Might be going.
Hey, I need somebody to think it
Yeah.
up.
He
I meet Wabunsee County's non-inspected standards.
specializes in moving things.
Yeah,
these
usually moving
days.
things.
Big and little moving things.
It used to be big moving things, now it's little moving things.
I would be inclined to pass this one since we already know the scope and we know nothing is
We've seen
on there that-
50,000 pictures of
Right.
it.
Yeah,
So this one, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
I thought it wasn't going anywhere tonight.
well, that's easier. It's very
It meets our requirements.
And she doesn't have to go out to do anything because it's already been done over the last 6 years of battling anyway.
It's the most thoroughly inspected spot.
Yeah, currently it is.
Okay, you guys through? All right, motion by Brett to approve the permit application for 337 Lakeshore Drive. McVeigh's, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? Motion passes 3-1.
Do I need to sign this paper? Kelly's not
Well,
here to notarize
can
it.
boy, late edition. Only thing is, could I have the movement of the motion say that this dock is for replacement of an older dock, not a new dock?
Sure.
Yes. And you accept the
After I
second
just wrote down new dock.
after and the second request notes that that's the amendment. You accept that amendment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to vote again. It's just.
Okay.
It's,
That's just a Kelly in the meeting minutes. Note
yeah.
right there. Great.
Because I think you talked about that last time. That was.
And you've signed one of these, right?
No, that's what I was asking for.
Okay.
I forgot one. But Kelly's
Yeah.
not here.
I'm sure
We
we
sign it right here. Still.
The mayor could sign it, couldn't he?
No, it's yeah, I can do it.
Such a lawyer. Doesn't trust us.
I use black ink, so that's a good one.
Yeah, watch Jason's ink, though. It's known to be invisible.
Don't say anything about his pen. I love his pen.
It's not clicky pen, so he's happy.
I'm very happy
You're
with
lucky I
that pen.
left my notebook at home.
So you
Well, I
want
guess
me
I
to
don't
sign
need
it?
that.
Yeah,
for
sign
her?
it, sign it, well,
Yeah.
sign it where
I get a
Kelly
copy of that from
signed.
Kelly.
You want me to
Mark
date
through
it?
Yeah.
Mark through it and say
Yeah.
mayor.
Okay.
Mayor Terry, and then sign above it.
Not right there.
Official.
Too late.
I did find out some interesting news about that property. Those rocks apparently came down from back behind the spillway.
Mm-hmm.
Back when the day they first just put a whole bunch of big rocks there and
Oh,
they all
yeah.
got washed out. And I guess they took those and moved
Mr.
them
Kelly.
over there a long time ago.
I don't know if you want to make.
So there might be some more back
this or
there
Just
that I might be able to get my hands on to
I can make a copy of it right now.
fill
more
in,
of the
fill in
same.
and make it to shore up that shoreline. So
That would be awesome.
I'll let you know before I do that.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad it worked out for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Tim.
Be careful back.
You
I
can
have
still
to-
come out and
I
have a
have to
cold
hold
beer
to
and
my
do some fishing.
standards, but
It's all right.
Be careful driving home.
Okay, I will. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right. Next up is 504 North Main Street.
It's a city one, isn't it?
Angela McCrary, and she's not here. I'm going to guess when I went by her place today, it was probably just as icy, if not worse than Michelle's place. It might be the reason she's not here. I'm going to suggest that somebody
Move the
decide.
table.
There you go.
What date?
The first
the
meeting.
12th
Yep.
11.
of February 2024. Second it, please.
Second.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, motion by Tim to table 504 North Main Street's permit application to February 12th. Seconded.
I was confused by those plans as well.
At first,
This cabin.
It looks like they have a trailer house. They're building a cabin.
on this, yeah, I talked to her. She said that they're removing the trailer house and they're going to replace it with this 12 by 25 cabin.
Trailer for sale.
I'm all for it. It's a trailer out of the
Oh,
city,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
especially at that
Just the
location.
plans were making me laugh.
But anyway, it's we
Just
voted.
plans.
The motion was made to table this decision until she can be here on February 12th. By Brad, I believe, seconded by Jason. Further comments?
Then you,
Or did Tim second it? Tim seconded?
I'm,
you made the motion.
I'm
Oh,
going,
Tim made the motion.
Everything else was right.
Stand to be corrected. Motion made by Tim to table it to February 12th, seconded by Jason. Further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, Flint Hills Regional Council. The ordinance, in our appropriation ordinance, it listed Flint Hills Regional Council for the dues. This is a yearly dues. It's based on the population, just so you guys know. And the city of Eskridge dues for 2024 is $395.10. And we paid that as well in 2023, maybe a little bit less in 2023, I'm not sure. But in 2023, the city of Eskridge benefited well over $60,000 in surveys and whatnots. What else they do? They did survey assessments. That's what I'm looking for.
did they help with any grant writing?
Not yet, but they will.
Because that's worth the money right there.
Yeah.
Right now, their grant writing is still free. Holly has told me that they're still free, but they may not be in the
I
future.
haven't talked to Holly. She wasn't at the meeting this past Friday, so I didn't get a chance to say anything to her. However, just so you know, I did put in a grant application through her for water for this infrastructure city of Eskridge. And the grant's looking at up to $8 million.
What grant?
Yeah,
Just
What are you talking about?
our sewer sewer lines are going to need to be replaced at some point. So I went ahead and pushed for the grant to help with that for the city's infrastructure.
Well, which grant is what I'm asking. What
there's
do
a
you
lot
know?
of, they got a full, I mean, they just opened up a new raft of them under, because of the state water
Tons of
fund.
it, yes,
You couldn't, there's at least 10 of them.
yeah, and
So it's a request for
The state,
consideration under a pool of grants.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
there's a,
yes.
basically the state, they fully funded the state water plan for the first time in however many years, and now they got money to burn for.
I want to get it approved, and then we can decide what we're gonna do. I know Mike has told me that our infrastructure is gonna fail probably in 4 to 5 years if we don't do something about it.
Right.
And that means do something now and getting prepped for the construction to do that. We don't want to wait 4 or 5 years and have that problem where everybody's under a option to boil water or go to the store and buy it.
Knowing how fast the government works, sooner is better.
So, just I'd like to have the motion, if somebody would, to approve the $395.10 for the regional council's membership dues for 2024.
So move.
It was already approved on the appropriation ordinance, but I
Second.
still think it needs to be pushed.
I move to approve the 300, whatever it was.
$395.10.
$395.10 for the Flint Hills Regional Council custodial membership fee.
Okay, and that motion was seconded by Annie. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, motion passes. I'm going to thank you guys on behalf of the Eskridge, of the Flint Hills Regional Council for that. Okay, next up is Mission Valley's
After prom.
after prom donation.
I
Do we have
can't
a
remember.
spokesperson here for that?
It was $250.
Is that what they're asking for?
No, we've been doing
They just
this
asked for a
yearly.
donation.
Yeah.
They used to send somebody in here to come in here and tell us what they were gonna do with it and all that kind of good stuff.
We have a nice letter.
Why don't
Wow.
you just start sending us a letter?
I think it's been a fair while since they did that. I don't remember anybody ever coming in.
It has been, but
Been a
I
job.
started asking if Cargill and Dover contributed the way that we did, and then after a couple of years of no answers, they just stopped coming. The answer is no, which I wanted them to say, but they never would.
Okay,
To be
Phil.
fair, this person also changes every single year, so.
I'm aware. My wife has been that person
I was
for a
gonna
couple years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
the at the top of the page, you can barely read it, but it shows how much we've given in the past 3 years. What did we do in 2023? We gave them something too. I was here for that. I
It was
remember that.
250 in 2023, 250 in 2022, 250 in 2021, 250 in 2020. And that was down because we stopped giving the 500 in 2019.
I'm okay with maintaining the status quo.
Is that a motion?
Yeah,
You should work the right.
need a motion. and-
I will move that we donate $250 to the Mission Valley After Prom Committee.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve $250 to the Mission Valley After School Prom Committee by Jason, seconded by Annie. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, motion passes 4-0. I know where Richard Wharton is tonight.
Oh, wow, I didn't even
Yeah,
think about
so
that.
neither one of them.
They're frozen in. There you go.
Could be.
Too slick to go.
Neither ice cream.
Okay, next up, Lake Wabunsee ordinance.
It does seem awfully empty in there, doesn't it, Julie?
Don't be alone.
Was this,
Yeah, this hasn't changed. I didn't have any input, any questions, any concerns, comments from what I did last time. Was after we went through it the second time. I sent, changed it, sent the final version to Kelly, and that's what you got. So unless you feel that there's something new that needs to be discussed or done, it's hot
I
and
move
fresh.
to approve now.
who did what?
I,
Okay,
Does it have a number?
no.
No, it does not.
Well, why don't you call it for the purposes of the minutes, just note that to Kelly that the number needs to be inserted, but you're moving to adopt the dock ordinance, whatever the number may be.
I might have it from
Is
the
this
last
mentioned
time she
within
printed out that
590 or
ordinance.
592 or something like that, wasn't it?
Kind of muddy waters there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. That was a rule. We're gonna have to second.
I'll second.
hey,
And I don't want to put another number to it because she may have
Yeah,
given a number to another.
she did, because when she printed out the ordinance, it has a number at it, but I can't remember what it was, and I forgot. I didn't bring it.
okay, we have a motion by Brett to approve the Lake Wabunsee ordinance for the purposes of approval for this meeting until we get the ordinance number from Kelly. Seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
4-0.
Motion passes. Okay, seasonal meter ordinance is next on the agenda.
Brett wrote this, right?
No, I wrote this. Oh, sorry. Did you want to write it, Brett?
The what? The seasonal meter?
Yeah. You want credit?
No. Sure.
No, I haven't.
Is it good?
I don't
Is
know.
it some of your best work?
Not really. It's just kind of a freeform jazz fusion. Nobody ever commented on it, so it's pretty much untouched from my first draft. So that's all. It's just about as dangerous as you can get. And this is obviously much shorter, so I don't have any problem.
The only thing that I would question on number C, if the seasonal meter is not used during the monthly billing period. Now, I know I'm shooting myself in the foot because I'm one of these people, but should we require that the customer call in and say, this date I'm gonna stop using my meter, or does that matter?
I don't think that would matter, would it? Because if they
quit using it, it shouldn't show anymore.
Right.
if you stop in the middle of a billing cycle, but you've already used it in that billing cycle,
Then
You're
you're
gonna
already
then you're
on
going
the
to get billed, right?
So,
Okay.
So whatever the cycle
hook.
is.
I just wanted to point that out just in case somebody.
Do we need to clarify what's seasonal and what's not?
Well, if there's a month that, I mean, let's say that Jason and I each are customers that do this. I start my gardening in February, but he doesn't start it till April. It'll show at the end of February when they read my meter, oh, Tim's using this meter now. But that's why I kind of thought that maybe we should have somebody. I mean, each
Like
person
some
can
kind of
do it when they
notification.
want, but I feel like there should be a notification because I don't think the guys need to go over there and look at my meter right now or in February or April. I'm probably not going to use it in April either. But I think it'd be good to
think
give somebody
about
a
what
heads
you're
up.
saying there. I agree with what you're saying. I'm going to agree with that. We don't have I bet we have less than 10 people in the entire city
I
that do
think
this.
there's 5.
Okay. I bet we have less than 6 people in the entire city. My point is, it's not the water usage in this situation would be not any different than if somebody took 3 months off and went to Europe, without calling in. They're not going to have any water usage. We're still going to bill them because the situation is different. But when they come back and turn their water on at the end of those 3 months, if any water was used during that 3 months, they're going to pay for it at that point because it's going to show up.
Well, and I think this difference is that you don't, the seasonal meter, that the idea is you don't have a monthly minimum.
Correct.
So no matter what, I mean, if you leave and you just don't use water, you still, or at least you used to, have a minimum.
So the people who believe for vacation for 3 months, their house meter is still going to get the monthly minimum
Right,
bill.
right. I'm one of those people.
But
We're
so we would probably have to be able to identify which meters are seasonal meters then.
Well, but you can only have a seasonal meter if you have.
If
The
you have
second.
a separate main
Yes,
water,
yes.
main water meter.
right.
Little green thumb to the
I was
top.
just trying to use
Okay.
all I was trying to do is use an example of how
Yeah.
the water meter will capture whatever they use anyway, regardless of how many
Right.
months are gone between the last reading and the current one.
Or they
So
put on
is
your
the
bill
season
separate.
set in there?
Do you get 2 bills,
Yeah.
Tim?
As it.
I think we should
I don't
put it
know.
as
We're just
set.
wondering
I
if
don't
it's
know what?
unnecessary
Is it set in there,
anyway.
So we're saying
only
the
getting
season that is off is
use
gonna be
fee.
winter, so that's 4 months, so you can't have it off.
Okay.
Or you have to pay for
I was just
at
curious
least,
if this
what
is
would
all
that be, 8
unnecessary
months
now
out
that
of
we've
the
done it.
I don't know. It could be.
or
I'm
no,
It might not be a bad idea
9
because
months out
what
of
if
the year.
You can
what
discuss
if
it.
you own a plot of land somewhere else in town?
That's the other thing.
And
It
then-
should be
yeah.
another water
So then it would
meter.
be
It's,
separated.
it's
out.
across the street.
So yeah, then it would be separate.
Yeah,
anyway,
never
so-
mind. Just
yeah.
leave it in. I'm good. I think it sounds
It's
fine.
not like there's 2 meters on the same
Well,
road.
you're saying something different, I think.
No, I
No,
know.
not you. Not you.
Me,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
getting
sorry. I
too
didn't
far
hear
in the
anything.
weeds.
I'm saying it's a seasonal meter, so I'm thinking 4 seasons, each season is 3 months, so they should be required to pay at least 9 of those months and get their season of 3 months off.
Yeah, the only problem with that is the meters aren't read at the beginning and end of every month. So they're read during the last week of the month, for example. So that's constantly going to change. So you're gonna overlap. Is what I'm trying to say. Your 4 quarters are not going to be perfect. They're going to overlap.
What I'm saying is that they're getting away with a season of not having to pay the fee, which is 3 months. So the 9 months will then be paid for.
No, it's the other way around. So that basically he'll have 3 months of growing season. That's the only months he's using any water. That's what he's paying for. The other 9 months of the year, he wouldn't be paying for anything,
You're not
Depending on
doing
how long you
anything in the
garden.
fall.
depending on how long the garden season is. So if he gardens for 6 months, then he's paying for 6 months and not paying for 6 months. But if he only gardens for 3 months, then he's paying for 3 months.
I'm not a fan
however
of
that works
limiting it into 3-month increments.
Right, because you
I
may
mean, I
have-
might push it for 5 months.
Yeah.
It says billing cycle, does it not? Did I see that? Did I see billing cycle?
Well, anytime you use that during the monthly billing period, you trigger, right?
Right. So if a seasonal meter is not used during a monthly
So it
billing
might be
period,
5.
Well, the
it might be
seasonal
7.
part, I guess, to me, then I guess is misleading because it's
A little
leading
bit.
to the thing that it's seasonal.
Yeah,
Well,
but
garden,
it's,
garden
and that
season doesn't
Seasons
naturally-
are 3 months long.
True.
So if you're going to take a season off, it's probably going to be when it's the cold one, usually when somebody's going to leave out of town or shut their pipes off.
well,
so they
it's
don't
just, it's
freeze.
just a word. It
Depends
wasn't
on
really-
the season. I mean, hunting season isn't the
It's,
fishing.
it's,
yeah,
seasons
we're not
are-
tied specifically to.
It doesn't mean weather season.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could change,
Gardening
you could
season.
change the name to
I'm just
supplement.
trying to capitalize
Yeah.
more money for the
Supplement,
city.
yeah.
Well,
Off
the first-
of the 6
one of
the-
people that
of
we
the
spent
5
$500 writing this for.
of the 5 households that are going
That's
to benefit
valid.
from
That's
this,
valid, man.
It didn't take me an hour.
they're going to know, and they're going to figure out when the billing cycle starts and when it ends. So if they are a couple of days short of the new billing cycle starting, they're not going to start their seasonal water 2 days into that. They're going to wait those 2 days and start it just so they don't get that extra monthly charge.
They'll wait until they see the guys come by and read the meter. That's when their season starts.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with it. Can we pass it?
I, for one,
Do we have an ordinance number?
We do not have an ordinance number for this either. So it would be the seasonal meter ordinance, you can call it that. And Kelly can,
gardening season.
gardening season.
I move to approve the gardening season ordinance,
Thank
water
you.
ordinance.
Thank you.
Second.
very much.
With the ordinance number to be determined by
Yes, Kelly,
Kelly.
the pro.
By the guru.
The seasonal meter ordinance motion approved, motion made by Annie to approve and seconded by Jason. Any further discussion? Those in favor? Okay, that motion passes.
You
better get your hand up.
I was writing gardening in front of the word season.
And one last thing about motions there, Annie, you were out of the office, so to speak, messing with the, looking for batteries.
Yeah.
When the motion was made to pass
I approve it.
Kramer Engineering.
That's
I
fine.
figured you would. 3 people voted for it anyway, so you
I
got
don't
it
care.
3-0.
Abstain me or put me in there.
We'll leave it up to the clerk, the able clerk to put down.
Do we want to have Julie tell us what she was going to tell us at public concerns?
Julie,
before
tell
we
us a story.
Take this camera off.
Okay, the other day at 3 a.m., my water head froze and broke. Which, of course, is a lovely time for that to happen. So, it's flooding my kitchen because it was underneath my kitchen sink. So, it's flooding hot water and cold. And so, I tried to call Mike Bone because I needed my water turned off. I got no answer. What are you supposed to do?
You have an
Who are
internal
you
water
supposed
shut
to
off?
call?
You have a water shut off in your house, do you?
I didn't know where it was. I finally ended up calling somebody else that happened to be up at that time of night that came over and turned it off.
Yeah.
But if you see my house, you'd understand completely why I don't know where it is. Tim's been in my basement. It's atrocious.
Well, I mean,
What do you
So I
supposed
guess
to-
your question is,
Yeah, what
when
do
a
you- what's the
person has an
person supposed to
emergency
do?
water break, who is the contact person to call to come shut it off if that needs
I
to
mean,
be
most
shut
people-
off?
Don't have Mike and Jim and whoever else works for the city's phone numbers anyway. So
For
that's
gas, it's 911.
We'll
Yeah.
take
Gas
away
is
that
911.
she has the opportunity, but if it was not in her house where it is, who is the emergency call? If it was out the line,
Well, I would say, I
Yeah.
mean, the
Honestly, a plumber. I know, because we ran into this in Bellevue, Nebraska. So you're talking to 40,000 people, so it's kind of a different thing. If it's inside your house and it's broken, it's your problem, which sucks.
No. I get that part, but when the situation is not in the house and it's outside or wherever, who is that contact to call at those hours of the morning?
Well, I mean,
Who's
that's
supposed to respond to that?
I don't know how, I mean, the maintenance
Just let
supervisor.
it go until the
Well,
hours.
Let's back up here. Okay. So the rule is everything from basically the one end of the meter to the house is the homeowner's responsibility. Even if the line breaks at the 6 inches from the meter, technically that's the homeowner's problem. But as a matter of courtesy, as a matter of, stewardship of resources, maybe a city will say, okay, we would ask that whoever is on call for other situations would go out there and shut off the water at the meter with the permission of the person, but it is not required. Technically, you're right. I think the end of the day, if that happens, you would likely have the ability or would have the requirement to have the plumber who's out there to fix the line or assess the damage to shut it off.
I've lived here 20 years and it has never happened before. The city employees have always come out and helped out.
And I would say
It's
that
too bad that
that's
we're-
it's a great.
What am I going to sit there for 40 minutes while the water is just pouring?
Yep.
Out from underneath my house?
I mean, we've all been in a situation
So
similar,
when it's
to be
not in a
honest.
personal situation and it is clearly a city problem and it's after hours, who would be the contact call then is what I'm asking.
Well, that's not, this is a legal question that has no relevance. The question is, who has the city officers who are in charge of maintenance designated as either on call or if there is an on-call situation? Meaning, I don't know if you guys have an on-call policy or if you have employees who are dedicated to be on call for utility emergencies if something happens, right? So let's make it easy. It's gas. Nobody's in charge of their gas system. Boom. To my mind, there's ought to be the city maintenance department should have an on-call person designated to answer those calls.
Well, they do, but if it's a gas emergency, that's a 911 call. If you can't get a hold of the designated
Yeah.
on call.
And
So
since
do we-
nobody's,
Do we have an on-call system for our city maintenance employees?
why would there, yeah, to my mind, there's no difference.
Yeah, nobody knows their phone numbers.
Wait, so then
Well, no,
But I don't
you
think
just said
they
you knew
should
all, they're one of the city employees.
I did.
the question is,
Public number.
public contact, a city emergency system maintenance, maintenance. Is there a contact for that?
I don't know.
No.
So we don't currently have anything like that.
Well, I know some people that had been snowed in for days and didn't get their roads plowed had called and left messages on the answering machine here. So maybe the on-call person on the weekend should just stop by City Hall and see if there are any messages that they need to.
Well,
That's not a very efficient
no,
on-call
no.
system, though.
They can stop here at 8:00 in the morning and then something happened at noon. They're not going to know it till 8:00 the next day.
Right, but if they don't look at it till 8:00 the next day, they might not do it till the Monday, which is another day following. See what I'm going with that?
Right.
Well,
Well,
And
yeah,
they
but
have
you
to
don't
come here to clock in anyway.
well, that's
So
usually the way
you
that
just
that
hit
does.
the
If there's-
answering machine. If there's a problem, you'll know it.
The contact's there's got to
Only
be a
when you're here.
contact method.
I agree. There has to be a contact message. Something,
So we need to see emergency contact number.
and it needs to be posted both on the website and so the public can see it at the door. So closed.
So then how do we,
I don't know the best way to do
How do
this.
we-
Annie,
how do
we
we check that?
what's your number, Annie?
We don't. Last time it was Dolly. People would just call Dolly, and Dolly would call them. And you don't want to sign up for that job, right?
I bet Dolly would still be willing to do it.
What?
I would bet Dolly would still be willing to do it.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
That's a 74-year-old woman. How old is she now?
Yeah,
Oh, we don't need to do that.
Well, I mean, and what
We need to think about a system.
Somebody
I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you
can
do that?
call.
You can do a number and you can actually have it bounce to a
Well,
phone.
my
can't
understanding,
you?
my understanding is,
let messages to a central.
Maybe relay a voicemail.
my understanding is that the employees have use of a vehicle 24/7 for the benefit of not having to come to City Hall if they get called out in the middle of the night. That leads me to believe that they are on call every day because they have a vehicle 24/7.
So then, how do we identify the on-call person, and how do we contact them?
Well,
In
I would say, don't be too excited about making a rule that everybody who has a vehicle at home is on call, because
Well, they are. That's been the
No,
reason why
no.
we've let them.
They alternate on call. They're not
Please-
all
please-
on call all the
please stop
time.
They
openly
alternate the
violating the
weekends.
wage and hour law.
They alternate the weeks. I'm pretty
So
sure.
who does it? Who does it?
Schedule.
That's the point we're trying to make. That's the point we're trying to make. Nobody.
And they're not all on call at the same time.
Yeah, and we're not making them
Otherwise, they're
work.
always.
You know, we can rewind this thing, because I've done on-call policies. You need to have them because they're rife for wage and hour violations if you don't have these things wired in. So let's start at base. We have sitting here, we have absolutely no concept whatsoever of what the maintenance department has or does not have as far as the system is concerned. And you guys don't know it. I would assume that Kelly doesn't know. So you're right. You identified a problem. It's just you can't leap out into the dark and start making policy without knowing what is going on or what they're doing.
Well, I know it's not doing us any good to delay it till the 12th, but can you provide us with some guidance on what other communities are doing that you attend meetings for?
And can we have Mike?
Or is
come?
that a Kelly job or Mike job, not a Todd job?
Well, here's what I understand. I think, but it's a Kelly or Mike job is to say, what are you guys doing now? And I mean, it's just, whatever the case, gas line break, water line break, sewer backup, whatever. What happens? Who's it called to? How does it get routed? All that stuff, specifics. Because I can get you easily probably about 3 or 4 different on-call policies for different places. But without knowing what you're doing or what you're wanting to do, you'll have a hard time fitting those in. So it really is, like I said, I can give you a half dozen examples. And you guys, if you want, you can take those. Somebody can say, here's, well, how do we do it, or whatever. And that could be an approach. Or you could figure out what the plan is and then tell me, and I can make the policy fit the reality. And there might be something in there where it said, no more of this. We can't have this happening anymore. We need this, right? Here's the 3 things that are okay with what the plan is. Here's the 5 things that are not. And here's where we need to clean up. So, I mean, however you want to do that, I don't have a problem emailing those to you guys, and maybe you're it either way.
I kind of want a little of both. I'd like to see what some other communities do,
Okay.
but I also want to talk to Kelly and Mike and see what we already have thought of.
Do you want Kelly to just call other communities and get their
And
policies?
we can do that. It doesn't
Is
matter.
what I'm asking.
You might ask Lisa too, since she's been here the longest amount of years, if
Whichever.
they used to have a policy and don't do it now or something. I mean, she might be have information.
Well, yeah, those things can be a little bit esoteric. I mean, I know that probably 2 off the top of my head I can get like that. It's not gonna take me any time. I just send them the section of the code.
That's
That'd
fine.
be perfect.
Julie, when Dave worked for the city, what kind of on-call was he responsible for?
If somebody called, he would go do.
If somebody called, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so he may have had something 15 years ago or better. May have had.
Well,
But we don't know.
Joe
We don't
Mercer
know.
did it for years, and in fact, Mike came out gosh, I think right after Dave died, I had a water leak. And he came out and shut my water off. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I mean, it was later.
So just so I know, most recently when you had this problem at 3 in the morning, you got hold of somebody that wasn't city employees and they came out and shut your water off from the inside.
Yes.
So has your water been fixed
Yes.
since then?
Well, yeah, Joel's been working on it all week.
But you did call in a city employee, or you did?
I called Mike and I got in the way out. And then I called James Bridgman crying my eyes out because
Yeah.
I don't know what that shut off valve is. And then Haley had come over. I called her and she answered, so she came over and between the three of them, they got the water turned off. And then Joel's been down there working, but my basement stairs are treacherous. I don't like going down them. I just can't imagine that a person needs to sit there during, I mean, and I can see their point too. They don't want somebody calling them all the time. Like Betty Dunn used to. I mean, for her decide of an emergency was that she couldn't remember where her underwear was at in the dryer. So I can see that they just don't want somebody calling them all the time for their idea that is an emergency.
I mean,
But when it is an emergency, it'd be super nice to call and have somebody come out and turn your water off. And I know it's a pain, but I don't have water tea anymore.
Okay. We will get a policy together at some point here in the next 2 years.
Well, I'm sure it's not just me that's happened to either.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just dealt with this a few months ago. My neighbor kid was in Topeka, owns Gatewood's old house. I think you knew about that when the water.
It was more than a couple months ago, but yes.
Somebody went, turned his water on and poked his garden hose. They turned on the outside spigot, poked the hose inside a casement window, and was flooding his basement. By the time he was informed of it, there was 4 feet of water in the basement.
Holy cow.
And ultimately, we got a hold of Mike, who went over and shut the water off, right?
Yeah, but that's when we discovered it was on their property and not ours.
Another same
right.
scenario. It was
Yeah.
the homeowner's situation, and he couldn't even be there yet. You got it taken
When
care
my
of.
bathroom pipes broke, I just went and turned off the water main outside myself because I wasn't waiting on somebody for it to ruin more of my personal.
So you don't know
That's
where your
what you-
shut off valve is either.
Even
It has to
though
be-
my dad has a shut off valve thingy, but it would be hard for somebody who doesn't have one of those tools probably to shut one off. I had one available to me, so
I've got a quarter turn in the cellar.
lucky.
Then it breaks off.
That's the best. When it's from
Actually, my cousin's pipe broke next door and
I
I
was gonna
turned
say,
his
it
water
was
off.
my
it was a
pipe
bad,
froze
it
for
was a
like
bad
4
couple
days.
of weeks.
I reversed
And they did put in probably twice as many
years.
hours
Oh,
shoveling
Yeah.
snow.
I knew cellar from that.
So I'm sure they're
Nice.
exhausted too. I mean, it could be maybe
Okay.
he was just
Get to our-
exhausted.
our
Or
executive.
maybe Jim was the one that was
Let's
on
move on.
call. I don't know.
I'm moved to go into a
Well,
5-minute.
We don't know.
We're gonna do that after mayor council concerns with Todd. What do you want to say?
Well, I was gonna, if we're gonna do the motions for executive, this is where I'm gonna do this memo. But go ahead and finish everything up so we can do the executive.
Okay. Under mayor council concerns, I just want to comment. I asked Kelly to provide each one of you a copy of Stephen Green's application for employment. Nothing for us to act on tonight. Just want you to be aware if there's another application, look it over. If we're going to plan on interviewing him, we need to discuss when we're going to do that. So you've got the employment application there. Look it over and we can decide.
If we're interviewing him, like, we should do it soon so that we can pick our candidates. I mean, this has been trailing on now. In a month or so, it's gonna be a year.
Well, Mike did say not to do anything until after the turn of the year, but it's after the turn of the year. And we didn't have our other meetings, so
Right.
I expect.
And I'd
it
like to
be
get
brought up
somebody
tonight.
hired because we've had a brand new $50,000 truck we've been making payments on that nobody's been using for a year, which seems like a tremendous waste.
Well, we're keeping the mileage
If
down.
nobody's used it, then we can extend it another year before we have to buy another one then, right? Instead of buying one
Well,
every
no, because then
7
we'll
years.
get off the schedule that everybody wanted to have a certain amount of.
Well, wham,
I'll use
wham,
it.
wham.
I'm down.
Really?
I'll drive around. You need it started up? I could use a truck.
All right. Okay, now I'm done with it, but does the council have any concerns? Okay. All right.
All right.
Todd.
Well, this is an opportune moment because what I got here is, and it's not just you guys, but I've been cracking down on forms of motions to go into executive session. There's some, vibes coming out of the AG's office. They're going to start cracking down on this type of stuff. So we're getting ahead of the game here. And this is your cheat sheet. We're going to do a proper motion for an executive session. And it is detailed and it is arduous and it's difficult to remember. So keep this in hand. First page, front page, something you're probably familiar with and you can read for your leisure, but this just tells you what the justifications are for an executive session, the ones that you'll probably see in all your years of doing this. Main was being personnel matters, as you're familiar with, and attorney-client privilege discussions. And remember the distinction of personnel matters is about an actual employee. Anything about actual policy, changing broad policy has to be an open session. So the most important part is the next page. You'll see what I have a bullet point list of what must state. First, justification of the session, like we had just stated on the prior page, personnel matters, attorney-client privilege, purchase of real property, that kind of thing. Second, the total length of time of the session. That's your 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever. The time when the open session will reopen, the place where it will reopen. That's something we haven't been letting go, but we do apparently have to have a place, even though it's going to say here at the City Hall again. It still has to be the place. If individuals are part of the governing body are invited to be present or coming in, you have to list them. And then you have to have another brief general description of what the subject is to be discussed. This is going to be the hard thing to do here because you can't just say personnel matters. You've got to say something to the effect of, like I have in the sample ordinance down there, the purpose of discussing annual salary adjustments for employees or addressing matters of employee discipline or investigating matters of employee malfeasance. And then for the attorney-client privilege, discussing legal matters and claims involving the city. So it doesn't have to say exactly what you're talking about. We're going to talk about Fred.
Yeah.
But it's got to be something to what you're doing in the session. So a lot more complicated than I've been letting everybody do.
It's fine. Like we're gonna leave in the middle of an executive session and go somewhere else. That really is weird to me.
Well,
We will resume in front of the post office.
as with everything, there's a story behind that particular addition to the
Interesting.
statute.
I'm sure that's a
We'll
wild
resume
one.
for the hanging.
I do have a question.
Into.
Items in an executive session that we discuss, are they supposed to stay in that meeting? Or can we go into open session, go out away from here and go tell everybody what we talked about in executive session?
No, you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't tell anybody.
Shouldn't isn't a very binding.
Morally,
Well-
morally, you shouldn't.
Well,
What is the
legally-
repercussion if you?
Let me be specific. You have stated in front of another person that sits on this council that it's okay to leave this meeting and go tell somebody what we discussed in executive session.
I
And
did.
I've always believed that was illegal.
I told him that.
You told Michelle, you told us in front of Michelle that one night. And I wanted to know, I know for a fact that you said that because I was dumbfounded.
I concur. I heard it. I was
It blew my
shocked.
mind that you said there's nothing illegal about going
Okay,
and talking about
you're getting two things mixed up. The repercussions are, and this is one of the very hair splitting things. There is no statutory, criminal, or other penalty for revealing what's stated in an executive session. Meaning, if you were to walk out of here and say, we talked about this, I don't have a way to prosecute for that. The AG's office doesn't have a way to punish you for that. the only thing that has legal repercussions is the fact that if you reveal what is stated in executive session in an attorney-client privileged context, that privilege is waived. Okay, so that's, yeah. And you're the client, I can't stop the waiver, right? So let's just say I represent Joe in a legal dispute. I say, Joe, we're going to talk right now. This is confidential. It's in my office, right? Nobody's around. Let's talk about what happened. And my advice to you is to do X. And he goes out and he says to the other guy, he said, my attorney told me to do X. Privilege is waived, but I have no right to say anything about that as attorney. And it's not my privilege to enforce. It is yours. So that's why I said it is not criminal or a violation of a statute to reveal what's in there, because there is no negative punishment for doing that, to my understanding. So the only thing that keeps you from doing that is the importance, one, of the privilege, and understanding that if you do it, you're going to release the privilege,
Right.
and that you're going to ultimately degrade the ability of the body to act in the executive session, because if you reveal what's an executive session, I mean, like any other thing, this whole thing works on the fact that everybody follows the rules, not because they're going to get punished for them, or that the lightning's going to come down from heaven and blast them off the earth. It is regarded as a rule and done because it's important that you do it, and we all recognize that you do it. Right? Does that make sense to you? That's a distinction.
Are you in town right now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't want there to be a
Are you in
misunderstanding
town right now?
because
Eskridge?
the last thing I want to have you guys do is say, okay, somebody said X outside the executive session and
That
said,
would work the best.
you know,
probably.
so are you going to prosecute
We
them?
still have a couple of executive sessions, but we'll be here. So if you can hurry, we'll.
So,
do you-
yeah. And
Huh?
maybe that's a weakness of the statute. Maybe that should be something the AG should crack down on. But I don't have the authority to do that. That's my explanation for that.
Thanks for being so clear.
Is that, well, I'm sorry that it wasn't clear in the first instance, because that wasn't my intent.
Okay.
So basically, no legal repercussions for a loud mouth.
I think the idea probably would be, and it's very weird to say it this way, but the ultimate effect is that the people have to understand that their elected representatives may be doing this, and if it's known and they don't like it, they could vote them out of office.
There's your repercussions.
I don't like those
Ethics.
repercussions.
Well,
I think if you're caught doing it, you should be
Blanket party?
something.
well, and I'm
Run out of town on the rail.
if there's
I mean, you should
proposals
be given
to
a
be,
warning if you continue to do it. Then I mean, you should be expelled. That's just my opinion. But
yeah,
Not
there's
invited. Can you, if you know that there's a mole, can you just call an
No.
executive
Oh.
session
No.
without that person?
No.
they could be subject to ouster. I guess that it's an extreme, and the problem is that I don't control that. Ouster is a action in district court that the district attorney, Muncie County District Attorney, would have to take up. That would basically say you're unfit for office because you've done these things. Now we're talking about how the rubber really meets the road if you're going to get somebody.
Yeah, because that's all hearsay.
Well, but it's if you can get, there's all kinds of hurdles to that practically. I mean, how do you get the county attorney interested in playing, meeting cop for anybody? For Alta Vista, Alma, Eskridge,
And justifying the expense of
and
going
going
to a court case.
to a court
to get rid of a
case.
city councilman.
Yeah, who
well, he should want his towns to be ran by.
yes, absolutely, by good people, and we should remove people who do not follow the rules, who do not follow the laws. Absolutely, but you can. Is it still Tim?
Do we have an emergency
Leisman?
that needs to be dealt with?
Mhm.
What?
An emergency that needs to be dealt with? What's going on?
What's the beeping?
No, that's just a scanner that's going to the normal
I think it's
scanner.
But the phone rang immediately after. I-
That is the lady with the cabin, and she told me that she was throwing out some clothes because she wanted to come talk to us. I said we'll be here for just a little bit, so we'll hear you out if you come.
504 North.
Because I'm
Main.
thinking that they were planning on having that, or have it planned to have it moved in before that when we tabled it. So
Do we don't see building permits for stuff like that, do we?
That's not normal.
yeah, it's kind of like a shed, isn't it? Is it going to be on a foundation?
This I had asked her to come to the meeting as
That's
well because
what I was-
there are questions that I have.
There's
Is it
no-
going to be a permanent foundation put underneath
There's
it?
no
Shed on
information
skids
on
requires a
here.
permit.
And they are putting in electricity and plumbing. So yeah, I would think
Is it a residence?
it's going to be a residence. That's my understanding. I
It
asked
says
her.
12 by 28.
It also says the county approved it, right?
The county doesn't
one
care.
and
There's an
three.
existing house there, and they're putting another existing house there. They're replacing existing
That's
house
what the
with another
county
house.
thinks, but that's not what's happening.
Oh,
Well, yeah, it is.
That application is deceiving. They're tearing that. They're getting
They're
rid
getting
of
rid of
that.
a trailer house and putting a different
Right.
style house there.
Right,
The
but
county doesn't care.
but they're still going to have just one house.
Yeah,
one dwelling.
and the
Yeah,
county
one dwelling,
that's
one
and,
dwelling.
and that's the county's fine with that. They don't care. They're
Yeah.
going to get rid of a dwelling and replace it with another dwelling.
Right, right.
The county
But
doesn't.
does that require a building permit for the city? That's what I'm trying.
I think it does. For the city of Eskridge require a building permit, and that's probably didn't she put in a permit application? Did she put
Did.
in
I don't know.
Sometimes
What
they
she
just
put in
leave it.
for? A permit application?
What about the shed that Deb had hauled in? Did she get a building permit for it?
Well, there again, I don't have an answer for you on that.
Let me look here.
Structure permit.
I don't think that the rules have changed, but when I had a shed put on skids, I had to get a permit for it.
Michelle did as well.
Because that's what
Michelle
she's got.
Flacco.
Somebody.
And is the cabin
told me
a
the
10?
opposite.
Like I'm confused. Like is it an actual like prefab cabin, or is it a 10 by 10 barn shed that they're converting
It's
into?
12 by 28. That's what I'm saying. Is there really isn't a lot of
In my head,
information here.
it sounds like it's basically the same thing that Michelle's got, her shed that she's got,
Why does it say cabin? Is it a shed?
because
or a
they're using
cabin?
it for probably
Look at all
a
the
tiny
cabins
home.
at the lake, and none of them
Yeah.
look like a cabin. Not one does.
Are we ready to go into executive?
Is that a motion?
No. I gotta go turn the
Obviously
camera
not.
off.
Doesn't
I
meet
know.
the format.
Why don't we do the motion? So it's on the
Yes.
camera.
Exactly.
Here's how we do
I'm
this.
scared to.
This is an attorney, is this the attorney client?
I move to
The
go
first-
into
the first
executive
one is-
session for the purpose of
Attorney client privilege,
attorney-client privilege, fill in the blanks here for me.
discussions for a period of
5
5
minutes.
minutes.
5 minutes, starting at,
Give me time to shut the
turn my
camera
watch
off.
off,
8. We'll say 8:29.
8:29
starting at 8:29, and the meeting will reopen at
in the city hall.
8:34 in this location with us present during the session.
To discuss legal matters involving the city.
That's a whole lot.
That's the rule.
This is going to live here.
Well, we got to do we got to.
Oh gosh. Sorry. Resume.
Who
I
made the motion?
second.
I made a motion. She seconded it.
All right.
If nobody can get in trouble
Oh.
for
And everybody heard that.
Stuff,
Everybody heard the
She's
motion.
here now, then
Second.
let's-
You want-
You can't
We
get
go
in
into it.
Okay, good.
She's here now. Can we suspend that motion?
Yeah, voted.
I have this also.
Otherwise, I have to turn the
I
camera off, and I
shan't
don't want to turn
repeat
it back
All right,
on.
let's withdraw the motion, Tim.
Withdraw the motion.
Okay, come on in.
You can come on up here.
All right. We were just discussing it actually.
Okay, Angela, I suggested tabling it to February 12th. I thought you were snowed in at your house and
Pretty much, yes,
So-
all day. I've been digging for
gold.
8 hours a day.
Okay.
And I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Okay. So they do have questions similar to what I asked you when I called you on the phone about this
Okay.
the last time. And one of the question is, tell me if I'm wrong, you're going to remove the trailer and you're going to replace it with this new structure that you're, at the permit store, right?
Correct, yeah, with cabin.
Get that out of the way. Is there going to be a permanent foundation under it?
I'm not adding to the foundation that's already there. We're just replacing It'll be on cinder blocks.
The cabin is gonna be attached to the cinder blocks, or just sitting on top of them?
Attached.
Okay. And you've got 12 by 25, you'll have electricity and running water installed.
hmm Yeah, it'll be a full functional cabin. Just
Okay.
like
So is it a cabin or is it a shed that you're making livable?
well, they call it a cabin, and it's already insulated and wiring and plumbing and everything is already in it. So I'm just
So is it all like a prefab structure? They just kind of truck it in and drop it off? Or?
yeah. I guess you could call it from like the super sheds.
Okay.
You see them there as well, and it's a 12 by 28 total. And that includes the porch.
Right.
You take the porch off, it's 12 by 24.
Here's the actual code section, since you were wondering. The entire section of the code, building permits, 4.2.10, building permit required, shall be unlawful for any person hereinafter to erect or cause to be erected within the city any building or structure of any kind, or enlarge or add to the outside dimension thereof, or relocate any building or structure already erected, which hereinafter may be erected or remodel any building without a building permit being first obtained therefrom from the city clerk, after approval by the chief building official or his duly authorized assistant. The application shall be made before the work is commenced. So the approval is mostly about code compliance, right? Building codes, electrical codes, plumbing codes, because you've adopted the Uniform Building Code 1997. It's a good year. As recommended. So you've got the building code. They've got to comply with that. That's what, I mean, this permit probably isn't necessarily a great permit for that, at least as far as you guys shouldn't technically be concerned about where the location of it is on the property, but you should be concerned about the things that are in this code, has specifications and everything.
Is there a specification of square footage or whatever for a livable
That's
inhabitants?
a zoning, that's not in here, no. Unless it's in the actual building code itself, meaning, I don't think those uniform codes have a square footage requirement. They're
They
mostly
would kind of
technical.
blow tiny homes out of the water if they did.
Yeah.
I mean, what the codes are is the wiring has to be to these specifications. The plumbing cannot be lead or, that kind of, it has to be this or that. Those are the building code things.
And you have the codes approval letter there?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I've got all the permits and everything. Really, I'm just waiting on your guys's yes. And
But that's the
you know,
Muncie
so-
County zoning administrator's review, right? That's got the envelope is. It's not-
I got, I'm trying to think here. Because my brother-in-law and my sister was helping me with it too. So a lot of stuff, our mail gets flip-flopped. So I have the county go ahead and the building guy. See, I'm stupid at this. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I get it.
Basically, they told me all I need now is just have the council say yes. And then I'm good. That's what everybody's told me.
This is probably the first time in forever that we've actually had a building constructed within the city limits.
Yeah.
And that we've had sheds, but those aren't required to.
We had another trailer hauled in here. When was that, Brett?
3
Your
years,
neighbor?
4 years.
Did they
3 or
apply
4
for a
years.
permit? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did because the way they were supposed to place it, they placed it the opposite.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
came
they
in
did
here.
that.
But
When you're talking about the permit, are you talking about within the city?
Yeah.
This is
Because we did that too.
this is our permit.
Well, but the code, I'm just not sure that what we have in front of us is what chapter or section 4 of the code requires as far as inspection and approval of the building code. This is, chapter 4, article 2, building code. And it's just one of those things that's so rare to happen that you don't.
So what all do you have?
I'll just hand it to you because, like I said, this stuff might as well be legal garbo. I don't understand.
Todd says that too. Let's She's got the Wabco building permit. Do you have your city of Eskridge building permit? You said you filled one out?
Yeah,
No, that's what you have in front of you.
That's this.
Okay. I'm confused on what the holdup is.
Well,
Todd's wanting us to make sure that the building that she's gonna put on that property meets the standards.
So
the
it's a prefab. You bought it from a company somewhere around here. Do they have a website?
Yeah, it's supersheds.com.
Or sheds.
Super sheds.
well, they have, I mean, Muncie County, this is how this works. Muncie County does have control of zoning within the city limits. It does not, to my understanding, have control of building codes. You've got an approval here, a building permit from the county, where I don't know that we've necessarily approved it by the city. So the decision here is whether you're going to go through with this application, whether you're going to defer to the county and allow the construction and waive application of the building code, or whether you're going to enforce the building code, which is going to rewind this thing back to, what's permitted, but you're going to have somebody, which is the building official, which is either the mayor or your authorized designee, actually inspecting the premises or inspecting whatever plans you have. You can see this thing. It's 4 pages, 5 pages long about what they got to do. See?
Mhm.
So when we did that trailer that was brought in here a few years ago,
You probably didn't comply with that either. Yeah.
Well, I don't like deferring to the county, and for one reason is I don't always think that they have our best interest as a town. They just approve and deny things, and they really, I mean, from how I've seen things go here or out at the lake, nobody really comes to look at stuff prior to or after the building.
That's the actual.
Before stuff's built and after. That's how we have a lot of stuff on our property that is built that's not. I mean, if the county was actually doing their job, those things wouldn't be happening and we wouldn't be dealing with those issues. So deferring it to the county makes me scared that we're going to have an issue we're going to have to deal with.
Well, I think you would be advised if there's heartburn over this kind of thing, is that you look at the building code itself and review that and just see what we're talking about, because technically that's what should be happening if you have somebody who's building something that's basically a residential structure.
So that person kind of like be Clay? Could be
There
Clay?
you go.
I don't know who Clay is.
Clay, our public officer. Our
Yeah.
city public.
If you believe that if he's got the ability to do that, then yeah. Meaning, does he have at least the requisite knowledge to look at this, look at the building code, and make comparisons? Building official is a little bit different than a nuisance guy, because a nuisance guy can go out there and say, that's garbage. Building inspector's got to be able to say, well, wiring requirements with this, and I can tell from the plans. I can look at the plans and say, yeah, that meets specs, or it doesn't.
I guess we can ask him, right?
Yeah,
well, he's pretty sharp. I bet he can do it, but it seems like it's out of his realm.
So do you have like actual plans for the building where it shows how they plumbed it, how they did the wiring, and how they insulated it and stuff like that?
Blueprints.
Like a blueprint for the building. Can you
What?
get a hold of Super Shed and get a blueprint for that building?
Oh, see, what happens is like with this one here, when you buy it, it's a shell. So some people had bought in the super shed and they were putting it together to make it livable. So it's got the wiring and the siding and all that already in it, and then they lost it. So I swooped in and got it at a third of the cost, because my trailer is a sore eye, and this would be so much better looking.
You were
than the
next on
trailer.
our hit list, by the way, for blighted properties.
I'm sorry.
Nothing, never
Oh.
mind. Trying to make light of the situation. Trying to make light of it.
So our concern then is to make sure that it's built to code, so that you get into your new home and it doesn't burn down the first time you kick on a space heater to keep yourself warm.
Oh, right.
That kind of thing. So, because that requires a response from the city and an expense for the city, because then we have to call the fire department and emergency services and stuff. That costs us money.
Okay, so
So then our
Would I-
concern is if we can look at the plans, then we can have a skilled technician take a look at it and say, yes, we agree that these plans are all good. And then we'll say, yeah, it's built to code, everything is safe. We're okay with this.
My guess is that super sheds will already have some code
No.
Great
approved
explanation.
in
Because
advance.
it was
Yeah.
not plumbed
Great
or
It
way.
wasn't done by.
Right, it's just
It
an
wasn't
empty
plumbed
shell.
or
Or
wired.
they did. Super
No.
shed doesn't
Super
do that.
Shed sold it to this person
And they
who
put
plumbed
it
and
in
wired
and
it,
then decided
and
they
then lost their loan or whatever. Who knows what happened? But she ended
didn't
up.
beat codes. They had to
Getting
get
it.
rid of it.
It's a possibility.
I know.
That ran through my mind when she
No,
said
it was actually it was repoed. I mean, that I know for a fact it was repoed. As far as getting like electrician and people like that in there, I know several people that would probably be happy to take a look at it to make sure.
See, that's what I think we need is an electrician to sign off on it and a plumber to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Then we know.
But so we have to approve it and she has to bring it in before we could do that, right? I mean, in this situation.
Well, they
Yeah.
could look at plans.
She doesn't have plans.
But there aren't any plans.
She doesn't have
Okay,
plans.
well, and
This
I
is
don't know.
not that kind of thing.
So you know an electrician and a plumber?
I do.
Is-
Um,
Let me jump ahead of you,
Go.
just right for quick. Is the inside of the cabin finished like this room here is? So all the plumbing and all the wiring's covered up.
But there's a panel.
There's
And
I
they can
gotta make
test
sure it's
outlets and make
just
sure they're not
the same.
shorted or whatever.
Okay. See, I don't know
Make sure
anything
the
about
white wire
that.
is
Can
on
we
the
have
correct
her
side
have-
and
Right.
all that.
A certified electrician and plumber inspect it, and then that is
Have them
who
sign
she
off on it.
knows. As long as they're certified,
Right, and they
people
are.
you know, then they could sign off on that, and then it'd be good to go.
Right.
and I'd be okay with that.
Because they're supposed to deliver it tomorrow. If I have to call and cancel, it'll be 3 or 4 months before I actually.
So
get to
if they
get it.
deliver it, are they gonna actually put it on the foundation for you or just set it
Right,
on the
they're gonna
ground?
sit it in the driveway for right now because the
So
guy that's gonna.
it's gonna get put on later.
Yes,
So it would be delivered to the property, but not yet installed.
Right.
correct.
Here's what I think that the situation that you're in.
Okay.
You can get your house delivered. You can expect that it will go on the foundation, assuming it meets the plumbing and electrical requirements. Have your inspector come in and verify for us in writing, a certified plumber and electrician. Yes, it's all good. You can bring that to us and keep on moving forward with your plans. If you put it on the foundation and the electrician is like, oh, hell no, that's on you. It's not on us.
Okay. Yep, that's fair.
So
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody on this council, I mean, one person's even absent. I don't think there's anybody around this table that's going to tell you, no, you can't have your house.
Thank you.
So
I'm definitely, I lived in the old hotel and I've gutted it and started over. And I promise I'm not going to badmouth anybody else's construction habits at all.
He hasn't finished, is what he
I'm not
said.
done. I've been living in it for 5 years and it's not even close to done. My wife's happy because she has half the ceiling in her kitchen right now. Half.
I'm more concerned about the electricity in the trailer than I am in that new one I got. So
So with the, I guess what we're gonna do with this thing now, you're gonna just table it till the next time and then ask that she have the reports there and
Yeah.
approve anything.
Yeah.
But you'll still be able to have it delivered, and it can sit there in the meantime, and that's not going to be a problem. You just at your time, just have them come in and look at it, and then give it
Can
back
you do that in the next
to our
few
public
weeks?
officer, Clay, and then he can present it to us.
the reason why I'm kind of holding back on that is I have missed a lot of work because I haven't been able to get out my driveway. And with the
Oh,
holidays,
I just pulled you out the other morning.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
stuck the next day. And I got stuck today because I couldn't even back out of my driveway because it's on ice.
Yeah.
And I had a heart attack, so 2 of them actually. So shoveling snow.
Less fun.
Oh, today I've taken 2 nitro and I'm thinking I gotta go in.
that's one of the big causes of heart attacks.
So I can't miss work.
Understandable.
I can
You're the
We're
one
trying
that
to- within the
you're the
month.
one that has to live in that trailer till it gets approved.
We're trying to help
That's
you
the
with
thing,
time. It's not that we're pressing you for time.
So I just need to get somebody in there to inspect it within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Would that
Yeah.
work? Okay.
We said 2 weeks because our next
meeting
meeting's in 2 weeks.
Oh.
So
That's why I said it's your time frame.
Yeah,
You
so if
want-
it's the
you want
next
to sit in
2
your
weeks after
driveway
that,
for
that's
2
fine.
months. That's
whatever you need,
Okay. All right.
whenever you can get them in to come take a look at it.
I
When
want
did
to
you
verify
guys
something.
table this too? You made a motion to table.
Do you
So
want
it's
us-
currently tabled until the 12th, or is this one tabled to the 26th?
It hasn't been decided.
It's
Which
the
one is
12th
this?
because it's for
We're
Eskridge.
saying tabled to
Do you
the
need
12th.
more time than the
Okay.
12th?
Uh,
We could extend
You can
and
always
give
come
you
in and
2
say
more
table
weeks.
again.
And if you got it done before then, you could call and be put on the
okay.
12th.
Let's do that. That would be.
But
That'd be
it's
great.
on the 12th, right?
Yeah, it's already tabled to the
Yes.
12th now.
Well, let's just say it's on the 12th. Come back and before get it checked out before then. You can pick up on the 12th. If you can't get it done by then, come in anyway.
We'll
And
just table it to the next one.
You're right. This was tabled at the very beginning.
Yep.
Yep.
I just want to
Okay.
verify one thing. You're going to get rid of a trailer and put this one in its place, correct?
Yes.
You're not going to like move that trailer off to the side.
And
Actually,
rent it.
that trailer's already sold.
All right.
We're just waiting on the guy to
Fabulous.
come and get it, and this weather's been.
And take it out of town.
It's out of
Convenient.
town. Yes, it's going to Topeka side.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it
Celebrate.
it's Trailer Park.
You've got all the right
Celebrate.
answers.
All right.
I think we got it figured out.
Thank
Okay.
you for
See you.
coming
We'll
in.
see you on the 12th. Okay.
On the 12th.
And
Okay.
if
Thank
you
you.
don't have it done, we can extend it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks
You
for
guys are
coming in.
amazing.
Mhm.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Look for me tomorrow morning.
I will. I haven't put the jerk strap away. It's ready.
If you got a skid loader, feel free.
I
Please.
don't have one of those.
That's
or I'd
what
be
we
using
don't
it.
have.
Yeah.
I shoveled for 3 hours tonight. So
Oh yeah. That's what our kids
have a
for.
good evening.
Be careful.
Okay, Tim. Now you can.
I repeat my motion.
Except for the time
Changing
is
the
going to
Except
be
the time shall now be what?
I'm going to say
47.
8:47.
8:47. Be back here at 8:52.
Do it.
Right here.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Voted.
Motion by Tim to go into executive session at 8:47. Seconded by Jason. Those in favor.
All right.
All right, I'm turning the camera off.
All right.
Wouldn't that be nice if we could just hit that with a remote?
A shoe.
Remote shoe.
What would be nice is if we could like pull down a thing behind Terry and this